back to Self Study YouTube channel. This video lecture is for 10th standard SSC board students, and our today's subject is history. Lesson number 1, historiography, development in the West. So this is the first lesson of the subject history. So let us start with it. So at first this video is gonna contain the introduction part, and then each video means this is introduction, and then next video will be on 1.1, which is tradition of historiography, the next video on 1.2, 1.3 and so on. So this is the introduction part which is given in your book itself. So we are going to start with it. So the very first question which arises in your mind is, what is historiography? So the correct definition of historiography is here: the writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. Now what does this mean? The writing, anything in a written format, or the writing part of critical means which is very important. The writing of critical, important, historical means dealing with ancient times or past or old. We can say the writing of critical historical narrative means in a story form. So this historiography contains these points, that it is important means it is critical, historical means it is old, and narrative means it is in story form, as well as they are written down, the writings of it. This is known as historiography. So let us move ahead. The historical research, writing and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past events and their interconnections. This is a continuous process. Now, historical research, we know history, we do research and all, and then we come to a conclusion. Then writing and studies are carried out with an objective. Why do we do research, we do writings, and we do study about history? It is because to understand the chronology of the past events. What happened? Chronology means a sequence, a timeline. You know that in 1957 this happened, and in 1958, and then so on. So what happened in a particular period, and after that. So it's a timeline, means chronology, what happens in a particular period, to study that when this happened first, then this happened after that, then after that, and after that. So to study this, to know this, we have to study or research about history. Okay, now they have chronology of the past events and their interconnection. So were they interconnected? This period and this period, were they interconnected with each other? So like this is a continuous process. So let us move ahead. Research. Now very important thing to understand is research. There in the textbook it is given itself that there are two types. It is physical and natural sciences, and it is historical. Okay, so in physical and natural sciences, what is there regarding physics, and natural sciences science is regarding biology. Now you know that we do research on things, like in the lab you do chemical, the chemical things are used. Then in laboratory method is used in physical and natural sciences. So which method? Lab. We do go to lab and do the experiments, right? So in lab this method is used. Also in this laboratory method of doing these things is known as empirical method. This method is also known as laboratory method, where we do experiments and observations are there. So in physical and natural sciences, the empirical method, which is laboratory method of experiments and observation, is used to verify available knowledge. Let us take an example of Newton's. Okay, suppose this is an apple which fall from the tree on Newton, right? When Newton was sitting, so the apple fall, and after that, why this happened? Because of gravity, everyone know. Because of gravity, the apple fall towards the earth. Now Newton thought, why did it fall downward only, and then he proved the gravitational theory and all these things. So at when this happened at past, okay, this happened quite a long time ago. Then at present also apple is falling down from the tree. In future also apple will fall down from the tree because of the theory of gravitation. This happened because of gravitation. In past, present and future, it will not change at all, and we can prove this with the knowledge we have, as well as we can formulate laws. You may know the of gravitation. So it was that time also. In past it was same, present is also same, and future it will also be same. A minor changes may happen with the changing time, but almost everything is same, right? So this happens in the physical and natural science. Okay, so this method allows formulating laws. We can form laws that remain true irrespective of time and space. So past, present and future, it will remain true only. So those laws can be tested and proved repeatedly. Now this apple falling and the gravitation law you have, we can prove this repeatedly by experimenting, by observing the things. Okay, and also the people who do the study of these things are known as scientists. Okay, we know that scientists are the one who do the studies regarding this physical and natural sciences. So this is scientist. Now let us move to the historical one. Okay, so historical method, what happens in this method is, we cannot formulate laws. In historical method, it may not be possible to use method of laboratory experiments and observation. This method, empirical method, the laboratory method cannot be used in historical research. So the research is of two types, physical and natural, and the second one is historical. So in this we can do formulate laws, we can do research, we can do we can experiment, we can observe, all these things we can do, and we can prove it even today. But in historical things, in historical method, we cannot do so. Because why we cannot do so? Because we were not present in the historical time and space, and the historical events cannot be recreated. We were not present in the past time, right? And this cannot happen, that we cannot, and also we cannot go there and we can see and observe and then we can conclude. No, this is not possible. Therefore formulating laws that can remain true irrespective of time and space is also not possible. If some example of Harappan civilization, some said that it happened due to flood, some said it happened due to famine. So you cannot say that it will remain true irrespective of time and space. With the changing time, the statements given by the historians, the earlier experts, can also change. Okay, so it is not possible that it will remain true, and we cannot formulate laws regarding it. So as we know that physical and natural sciences have scientists to experiment or to prove the things in science. In history we have experts. Okay, we have experts who can verify the things. We have expert in history, and in physical and natural sciences we have scientist. Okay, so let us move ahead now. I hope the research thing is clear with you. If you have any doubts, ask in the comment section. Okay, let us move ahead. Paragraph is given. So okay, let us start. To begin, we need an expert who knows the language and script of the historical document in order to read it and understand its meaning. To begin with researching the historical method, we need to have an expert who knows regarding the past time, who has enough information. So we need an expert to also who knows the language of the past time. So there is a difference between the language of today and the language which was in past. There is a difference. So the earlier language, you should know also the script the written format, how to read it, and he should also understand its meaning. So we need an expert in the thing. Also, the expert can examine the authenticity of the document by using the criteria such as lettering style. So this is an important thing: lettering style, author's style of writing, manufacturing date and type of paper, stamps of authorities. So such document is further scrutinized by a historian with help of relevant historical references. Now what is this thing is to examine, to check whether the document is original or it is true, or okay, so if the document is original or not, we need the following criteria, following points. Lettering style. Today's lettering style, the earlier people had a different style of writing, also the author's style of writing and the lettering style. So earlier language, lettering style were different than today's. So if I write a letter today and I say that it is of Mahatma Gandhi's period and Mahatma Gandhi wrote this letter, and if I just made a fake letter and told that this is the letter, so will it be true or will it be correct to do so? For that purpose they need to examine the authenticity, how original the document is. So these are the points which are taken into consideration while doing so. If this there is one letter which is actually from Gandhiji's period, and this is mine letter which I have made on my own, and it is not true maybe. So to check whether this is true or that is true, to check the original which is original, or to check the authenticity of the document, these are the criteria which are used. So first is lettering style. So my handwriting, Gandhiji's handwriting, there is difference in it. Author style of writing, my handwriting and Gandhiji's handwriting. Also the language, there is quite a change in it, in the language. Third is manufacturing date and type of paper, when this was written and the type of paper. Earlier papers might be different and today's paper are slightly different. So these are the things. Then stamps of authority. Next is, so such document is further scrutinized by a historian. So historian, the expert, scrutinize it, checks it, examines it, and then with the help of relevant historical references with this and this, he will tell that this is right or wrong. Okay, let's move ahead. Next is historical research method. So let us go one by one on these things. Okay, so the first one is critical examining of various sources. Now, sources of history. Now I told you earlier Gandhiji's paper and mine paper. So critical examination is very important, because if they take my paper as the correct one, and if it is not, I know that it is not, but if they prove that mine is correct, or if they didn't examine correctly and just they believed on me and just said that okay, it is correct, so it is not a good sign, because it may in historical research it may create a problem. So critically examining is very must. So it should be checked whether it is right or wrong, the letter or anything which we found. Okay, so critical examining of various resources is must. Next is examining relevant references of the available historical information. Now examining or comparing to the old information. So there are so many letters written by Shivaji Maharaj or Gandhiji, anyone. So earlier letters which they found and the letter which I gave to them, they will compare both the handwritings, both the languages, both the paper type, then the manufacturing date and type of paper, the author's style of writing. So they will check, they will compare with both the references, and then they will do further scrutinization. Next is collecting historical information, highlighting the process that lead to the historical transitions, carrying out comparative analysis. So same, so we have to collect the historical information from the old, then we have to highlight which process they are doing, and what are the historical changes, transitions in doing so, then carrying out comparative analysis, and then having a reason that how can you prove that this is the correct letter or not. Next is understanding the reference regarding time and space of the given historical events, and also various conceptual framework used in historical research method. Now we have to take in consideration the time as well, the letter from that time and letter from this time, so we have to compare that. Then conceptual framework should be there, also used in these things are used in historical research methods. Next is this, that formulating relevant questions in view of the historical reference. Now formulating question, this is an important topic, because if we form questions in opposition to it, then we will certainly get a good output, because if all the questions are clear, if whether I'll question that this type of paper is this from that period, if the answer is yes, then I'll make another question, is this type of handwriting matching with today's handwriting. So questions should be prepared. If answer is yes, then you should conclude your conclusions, and then if answer is no, then you should do more research, or the document is not true. Okay, so formulating question is also an important point. Next is formulating hypothesis. Hypothesis means it's a theory of assumptions or conclusions which we made. You have to form a theory from this a thesis. In that you should include all the points, that how did you do that comparative studies, and how can you say that this is the true letter, and what evidences you got, and what you have proven for that. So this is important to with the same. Okay, now let us move ahead with the next thing, which is on page number 2, methods of various disciplines. Now this is this can be asked in a concept map, this thing. Just a second. Yeah, concept maps can be asked on this thing. So let us know one by one meaning of everything. Okay. Methods of various disciplines are useful in historical research. Now these are the methods given over here. So for example, archaeology. Archaeology means study after digging out. You may know that after digging out things, we get the articles or anything we got, document or any object. We have the study after that, after digging the things out, or the study of that human, or the time of that material or that thing, is archaeology. Next is archival science. Archival science, study of books, monuments, buildings, etc., etc. So this thing come in archival science. Manuscriptology, study of manuscripts. We know manuscripts. What are manuscripts? They are handwritten books, anything written by hand of that ancient period is manuscript. Okay. Next is so study of manuscript is manuscriptology. Epigraphy, study of inscriptions. What are inscription? Before writing down the handwriting things, before that they used to carve it on the stones or on walls or in the caves, anything. So the stone inscriptions they are called as inscription, the carving on the stones or things. So the study of inscriptions, there is a mistake over here. Inscription. Okay, there is a spelling mistake over here. It is not inspiration, it is inscription, typing mistake. So epigraphy, it is the study of inscriptions. Okay. Next is analysis of lettering style. So how was the lettering style, and is it matching with today's lettering style, and those comparative study of that. This is also an important method, which is analysis of lettering style. Next is linguistics. Linguistic is study of languages, types of languages. There are many languages, to study of languages comes in linguistic. Next is numismatics. Numismatics, study of coins. Next is genealogy, study of lineage, ancestor, all old things, or study of genes. You can say genealogy is study of genes in human beings. So if you found a skeleton lying down under the earth and you find out that, so the study regarding that human or that skeleton and its gene and whether it is matching from that period or not, then all that comparative study is done in genealogy, which is study of lineage. Okay, now let us move ahead. There is a do you know box given there on your in your textbook on page number 2. So this is the do you know box. Let us discuss about this as well. The earliest inscription in Lever Museum. Now this is inscription. What is inscription? The carved thing before writing it down in the books. The people there used to carve it, known as inscription, after carving those things. So on stones or buildings or caves, anyway. So this is an inscription which is found, earliest inscription in the, today it is in Lever Museum, which is in France. Okay, the above picture shows a fragment of earliest inscription. A forward marching file of soldiers holding shields and spears is seen here. The general is in front. Okay, so there are two kingdoms over here. This is kingdom number 1, this is kingdom number 2. Here there is a general in front. Here there is also a general, the head. There is the soldiers back there and here. So it shows the fighting of the earlier times. So this is carved on the stone. The tradition of recording historical events can be traced back to Sumer civilization. This is from Sumer civilization, which is in Mesopotamia, which is today's Iraq. Okay, today's Iraq is known as Mesopotamia, was the earlier Mesopotamia. Names of Sumerian kings and stories of battle fought by them have been preserved in various inscriptions. So the names of the kings of that Sumerian kings of that time and their battles, how did they do, how did they bravely fought the battle. So everything down there is preserved in various inscriptions. The earliest inscription shown back dates to 4500 BCE. Now this inscription is 4500 BCE back. Okay, so this is the earliest inscription. It records a battle fought between two kingdoms. This is the first kingdom, this is the second kingdom. It is now displayed in the Lever Museum in France. Now this is in that museum which is in France, Lever Museum. Okay, now let us move ahead. Now 1.1 tradition of historiography will be the second part, so do watch that part also. Okay, so till then, keep watching, keep learning. If you like this video, consider subscribing. Thank you.